Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faris Alami, and this is StartupGrind Detroit. I'm really excited to see you here today, and thank you for joining us. For those who are not aware, StartupGrind is an international platform to showcase entrepreneurs from all over the world and in different communities. And we are here in Detroit virtually today with Anastasia Selenok, who is actually based in Ukraine, and we'll talk about her journey and her her entrepreneurial experience. Let's just say that today, and where she started and where she's going next. So with that, thank you so much for joining. I'm not sure where the others are calling from. If you would like to, it'll be great if in the chat just put where you're calling from. That would be awesome. And if you want to tell us what would you like about today's conversations that you want to hear more about, just feel free to use the chat to add your comments as we continue this conversation. So welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here. So Anastasia, welcome. Thank you so much for making time. And I know that it's not easy to be where you are today, and I'm very thankful for you making the time. So with that, maybe you could tell our audiences today who you are and what you do.
Yes, thank you, Paris, for inviting me in, for having me here. So, hi everyone. My name is Anastasia. I am a co-founder of innovation agency that is called Digitizing.Space. It actually deals with program design with innovations and like for 5 years already. And I'm a co-founder of HATA Hub, which is the flagship project for Digitizing.Space. What we try to do, we try to mix culture and tech for them to build their startups and actually to safeguard, preserve cultural heritage of Ukraine, and not only Ukraine, as well as develop culture tech scene and ecosystem actually here in Ukraine. So of course, I have a lot of different entrepreneurial activities as well. So I'm being an ambassador for women in tech community that is like one of the biggest, in the world, I would say, because we have we have a lot of representatives in all of the countries. Also, I'm being a business consultant for 10 years, I guess. So I mentor startups, I communicate with them, I speak and host on different events. And actually, last year I was at StartupGrind Global, so enjoyed it very much. Being a part of this community is a pleasure and a privilege for me, because like meeting all those people is a great opportunity to, widen the perspective and actually to develop some useful connections to grow your business, and your community. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And one of the things that always fascinates me about listening to entrepreneurs share their stories is the journey that you took to even get here, right? So, like, what got you to start this business? What were you doing before this that got you to say, "Well, I'm going to own a business. I'm going to start this business"? I mean, what were you doing, and what got you to want to do this initially?
Yeah, that was a fascinating story, because I was an employee for like all my career, through all my career, and I dealt with ecosystem projects. So basically, built startup hubs, opened hubs throughout Central and Eastern Europe, and also in the United States of America as well. We opened Ukrainian Hub USA last year. But I was a executive director and CEO of one of the biggest co-working systems here in Ukraine. And then 2020 came and COVID hit. And actually, a lot of businesses, they didn't know what to do and how to handle, especially when they were offline. So my boss that time said that, okay, like you cost me a lot of money as a C-level person. So, and I don't think I will have that money. So we have to say goodbye. And that time you were not negotiating to businesses, you accept just all they were doing, because we didn't know if it will end anytime soon or ever. So I left. Just imagine that I was left without a job, uh, like a month when the COVID started, and I was like, okay, so I don't know what to do, and I don't know if I will be hired as a C-level because like businesses were like in a shock. And then a good friend of mine came to me and she said that, hey, maybe it's time for you to stop raising like not your kids. Let's do something together. And I was like, yeah, like, do I have it? Like, what's the worst there that could happen? Like, we fail? Seriously? Yeah, let's do this. So, and that's how we started actually digitizing space back in 2020. So, what we did that time, we jumped into this, like train on a high speed. And we said that, okay, businesses, you knew how to do everything offline, but we will teach you and help you to move online, actually. And that was our like unique value proposition for Ukrainian market, for European market. So we did a lot of hackathons, a lot of online activities, events, design thinking sessions, like everything that you can imagine that was offline, we moved it online. And that time in 2020, we organized one of the biggest hackathons in Ukraine that was devoted to this culture tech scene. And actually, in October, we are repeating that for the sixth time in a row. So that was a good project to have, and we have like more than 1,000 participants at once online. Now we do it hybrid, but still, this is our like coolest and biggest project that we have and still have. So yeah, such a successful story. So that's how it happened. I think that I was afraid, if I'm being honest, to start something on my own. Though I was told by all my like colleagues and friends that hey, you have like skills to develop something on your own. Maybe you will not like work for someone anymore. But of course, a lot of risks follow your entrepreneurial journey, and that was scary. So actually, COVID helped me to like not to be afraid anymore, I guess.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's always, the journey, you could plan all you want, right? And then life happens.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely.
once it happens, you just got to go with the punches, roll with it, and figure out how to restand. That's fascinating. So, I mean, one of the things that sometimes entrepreneurs are afraid of is partnership. So, what made you decide that going in a partnership with someone is the best thing for you versus just doing it on your own?
So, as they say, like in business, there was a rule that do not work with three F's, like fools, friends, and family. So basically, I broke one of the rules because I started my business with a friend. And actually, when I talk to those people who want to start their own business to become an entrepreneur, I always say that it's better to start it with a partner because you're not alone in this. But there is a tricky moment. So with my partner, we are friends. We were friends. We are friends still. So we had some rules from the very beginning that we differentiate. Like we put all those things in different buckets. So we are friends here, but we are co-workers and partners, business partners here. So everything that is happening in our business ecosystem should not influence what we're like talking about doing, behave ourselves as friends. Also, we had our contract sign where we negotiated and talked through all of the important legal issues, like how do we move, how do we share, how do we, if one of us wanna like leave this business, how do we do that eventually? So that helped us a lot to become more secured, you know, in a way that, okay, we're still friends, but we have some legal arrangements that are done. And yeah, and I was lucky because like my friend, she is my business partner. She has, like, we're different, you know, in our approaches, and that helps us to not to fight and not to, you know, share our not to fight for our leadership, but to share our responsibilities, and not, like, you know, fight for some kind of who's gonna be there the first, who will decide and everything. So yeah, we shared our responsibilities, and that helped us a lot in doing this and being successful in this.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, that's always just interesting perspective. What works for you, as you know, might not work for someone else, but it's good for them
So
to hear that maybe this is an option if you didn't know how you could make that work. Thank you for that. The second question I had, based on what you just said earlier, also, is the whole idea of not having to work for someone. And I always use it as a tease. I'm like, if you think you don't like your boss, you're going to go from one boss to every customer is your boss, actually. so,
yeah.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts and reflections on that, and the shift that you had to do to adjust to multi new bosses versus the one boss or two that you might have had to deal with.
Well, I think that the main change for me was the value of the responsibility I have. For example, when I'm not the, I don't know, I'm not the good example here, because when I worked for someone, I always thought that I always behaved like that was my own thing, that was my own business. I didn't sleep, you know, I worked hard 24/7. I tried to make it work. I tried to like develop everything, and actually I was so passionate about my project that I had, and I'm so very proud and thankful for the opportunities I had back then, like through all the journey that I've been to tech ecosystem. It's like 10 years for now. But, you know, I always knew that if I fail, like, that would be my own failure, of course, as a C-level person. But the damage would be done, you know, not to me. And actually, the responsibility for that will be not only mine, so that will be shared as well with the people that I worked for. Now, when I'm an entrepreneur, I do share the responsibility with my business partner, of course. So that's why I recommend everybody, like, if you are afraid to start on your own, try to start it with someone else. But I understand that every decision I make influence everybody, me, my business partner, my employees, my clients, and all those bosses that I worked for right now. So, but I know when I make the decision, I do not have to, like, you know, protect it, like negotiate it, defend it to someone. Like, I made the decision, and I do not have to, like, explain myself, you know, to, because, like, I have this ownership, and so I am allowed to do that and to make my own decisions. So that changed. But often we are joking with my business partner and with my friends and with my colleagues that uh, who are entrepreneurs as well, that are, hey, do you remember, like, getting a salary, a paycheck every month? That was so cool. Do you remember that feeling? And sometimes when, you know, like, entrepreneurship is not only like, you know, pink ponies jumping around and unicorns and everything, flowers, there are some bad moments, of course, crises, because like my country is at war right now, like the biggest one in Europe since the World War II. And of course, we have a lot of struggles. So in those times of, some kind of depression, entrepreneurial depression, we think that, hey, maybe we should go and work for someone, and get those paychecks. That would be so awesome. Like, but yeah, of course, you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh, no, I'm not doing that, because I have my responsibilities and I have my team and I'm passionate about what I'm doing. So that's the short explanation to that.
It's all good. I mean, these are questions I'm asking that I know that it sounds really simple, but I know there are deeper thoughts for you that you have to go through to answer them. So I hope that those who are listening and watching as well, as we re-air this to them to see that they just, the goal with this obviously share your perspective, your experience, because
sure,
it's unique and it is different, right? And this is what makes every one of the entrepreneurs going through their own journey unique and different. So thank you for that. So walk me through this journey. So you and your partner jumped in. You said, let's do it together. And then how long did it take to get your first paying customer? Because I know you were doing some stuff that you used to get some traction, but how long did it take you to get your first paying customer?
So actually, that started from the first paying customer. So basically, how that was. So we had this fund that came to us and said that, hey, we want to do something for cultural institutions. We want to do some kind of, I don't know, hackathon or anything for them to jump in there, sitting at homes, COVID, people are disorientated, and actually we have to do something, and we have like some money for that. Can you do something with that? And actually, my future business partner, my friend, came to me and said, look, there is this like customer, there is this project they want to make. And I thought that could be a pet project for us to just understand if we fit together as as partners, as co-workers, because we were friends, and like and drinking wine with a friend and then working with a friend is two different spheres and two different tasks to complete. And so we were working for it for 2 months to bring it all together, this online hackathon. We did that with our team, who were also our friends, like former colleagues, people from network. And yeah, we did that. That was very successful. That was huge success back then. And we were like, okay, yeah, we can do this. So let's just think over the name of our organization, make a website and start from there. So after that project, we basically thought of our name, and then people just came, not to me personally or to my business partner personally, but to our company.
That's amazing. I mean, a lot of times you're getting, especially that you're talking also about the technology, right? You had to get this up and running online, right? To get all these tech people coming together, So
yeah, of course. But community matters actually, and connection matters. In Ukraine, especially, it's like, and I know that in the United States, the same thing actually, because if you have those connections and if you have those communities that are built, it's very easy for you to jump in and to grab useful people, projects, companies to work with you and to create something together.
I love it. Yeah, I agree. I think it's all about the community and the people that are involved. I mean, all these ideas or things anyone can do. The difference of what the impact that you make is based on the people and the connections and the talent that is involved that makes it work.
And the value you provide, actually, that's very important. Yeah, totally agree.
Absolutely. So walk me through, now that it's been, almost 6 years in the business?
5 years, 5 years,
Okay.
5 years, yeah.
Okay. So with that 5 years, they're always what I call, entrepreneurship is a roller coaster ride.
Oh, yeah.
The highest moment could also be the lowest moment at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're like, I got this great contract. Oh, wait, how am I going to do that? Or the other way around. You don't get the contract. You're like, how am I going to get this contract? Whatever scenario is, would you give us maybe one of your highest moment where you felt like you're touching the sky? Things are just unbelievably going really well. Just the highest moment so far. I mean, I know you probably had many of them. I'm just asking for one of them to be shared.
Yeah. Of course, I remember it's not a moment, but it's a year, I would say. It was 2021. We had this great year with a team that was developing like very fast. We had a lot of contracts from big companies here in Ukraine, like who created some events, hackathons, programs with us, impactful one, like non-profits came to us, corporate innovations wanted to develop their own structures and everything. So that was a year when you like, okay, I'm on the top of the world, so I can afford everything I want. I see the perspective. So we got our contract signed for 3 years, 5 years, so we understood that, okay, now it's going and flowing, and you do not live from project to project, when you're like, okay, I have this amount of money in my account, so how many months can I live with that, or days, or weeks? Financial literacy left the chat immediately. So basically, so we felt ourselves like pretty cool. We saw our future ahead, and that was marvelous. And then 2022 hit, actually, the 24th of February, and the war started, and all of our contracts were terminating. So maybe you didn't want me to ask me to answer like what was the worst thing there. So that was the worst year, actually, because for 3 months we were like paralyzed, actually, because like my mom got into left on the was occupied. Like my business partner, she was abroad, she tried to volunteer and everything, so we didn't have any projects for 8 months, if I'm not mistaken, but we still were paying to our employees, to all of them, because we understand that, okay, they have families, they have kids, they have like their responsibilities. And like, though we don't have projects, we still can pay them some money. So yeah, that was very tough, but then we got it all together, and yeah, and here we are. Still there.
No, thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's, I always, this is what we were talking about earlier, right? Life, you could plan all you want, and then life happens. And
Oh, yeah.
The war broke down, and, and you're under occupation, and you're like, what do I do now? By the way, one of the questions, and this is, I know you mentioned it earlier, but one of the, I think Devansh, I think, I hope I'm saying it right, asking, what is your company actually deal in, or what do you really do? Maybe you could, I know you said it earlier, but maybe you could elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, sure, of course. So what we actually do, we design inclusive digital programs for different clients who want to work with innovation, education, digital transformation. So as an example, like you have a company, and company wants to scout some projects, but in creative way. So what we do, we understand your target, your goals, and we try to create and design some programs, some activities for you to meet your expectations and to achieve your goals. As an example that I was referring earlier, this hackathon. So basically, our client said that, okay, we want to make people from cultural sphere to create more digital projects, like tech oriented projects, but we don't know how to do that. We said that, okay, we'll mix those people together for them to create something together, and we'll start from there. And basically now we have a community of more than 4,000 people who are from different spheres and projects who not only were created during this hackathon, but also survived. And then we deal with acceleration programs, innovation programs, incubation programs, whatever you can think and whatever jumps on your mind. So it's not about like event management. No, it's about strategic development and about program design.
But utilizing technology to deploy it, if I, just to make sure that.
We did not do this by our hands, because like we are not like programmers or else, but we give a platform for people to match together and to build this community, and for people to find the people who wants to do that with them, from the tech perspective. So yeah, we do not like program anything there. We just connect them all together.
Yeah, but that platform that you have, did you develop it yourself? I mean, I think this is what they were trying to figure out. Like, did you develop yourself?
No. We do not have like platform, because here in Ukraine it's rather not the same, because people do not want to like go on some website, look in there and sit there. So we do this in a so-called like manual way. So we have chats in different messengers. For example, we have Slack where we communicate, share some news and everything. So yeah, and we have some other documents that they can use for achieving their goal, and actually for them to develop their startup and receive mentorship support.
That's great.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's great. No, I'm glad to hear that. That's really good, and thanks for sharing that. So
Sure, no
I tell
problem.
people it's kind of like you're tech and untech, utilizing tech but not having to develop the tech, right?
Yeah, it's like I like to say that, hey, I'm being into this digital kind of sphere, tech/digital sphere. So because we're all connected, and I don't think that tech people, like tech people, those who code, can be that much successful without those people who do marketing, who do some designs, who do some community management, HR, recruiting, whatever. So this is a mixture. This is ecosystem. What about?
Yeah, that's that's awesome. Thank you for that, sharing that. So I'm clearly I can keep you all day, right? Asking you all these
Yeah, I know
questions,
you do.
but I know you have a few things to do. What I like to do is usually I like to ask, if you were, and then this is really tough thing to do, because what you know today and your ability to do what you're doing today and what you knew 5 years ago, I'm assuming they're so different. They're fast different in so many ways, right? You might have even grown in ways that you don't even know or recognize yourself, right? Because as you go through this, whether it's the war coming at you, or you're having to figure out the next project to come through, or you have all this money, you better not spend it all, or spend it all, and now you're in trouble. So all of these things are coming. If you were to go back and say something to Anastasia as she started in 2020, not necessarily that you would have listened, right? Or you would have even cared, but what would you tell for someone who may be starting now, that thinking 5 years from now, what would have said to yourself if you could have listened back then, that you wish someone said, that whether they said it or not, or maybe they told you but you never listened to it? What would that be?
I think that in 2020, I did everything right. So I would say that, hey, don't be afraid, go there, everything will be okay. But when I think about that, I remember 10 years from now, when it was 2015, and a friend of mine said that, hey, maybe you should start something on your own. And I was like, no, not my cup of tea. I don't know, and blah, blah, blah. So if I had an opportunity to get back 10 years from now, I would say that started earlier, started right there. Like maybe fail, of course, but this is very cool journey. And to have this journey and to experience that, that would be cool and that would be awesome. And just don't be afraid. Still, I do not regret all the experience I had because they brought me here. Nobody knows if like anything changed. I would be here. I would be sitting here right now. But yeah, I think that what I would say to myself and to all the entrepreneurs, to all the people who think of starting their own startup or become an entrepreneur or like start their pet project maybe or side project or some hobby they want to develop into something new, just don't be afraid, go there. Like the worst thing that could happen is you fail, but come on, like people fail all the time. You fail once and then you succeed the next time. So that's life. You like have these tactics and everything, bottlenecks, but that's interesting. That's what makes life very interesting.
So you're saying start early, fail as fast as you can, just keep going.
Don't be afraid. Don't be
Don't be afraid.
afraid because I was very afraid. Yeah, don't be afraid and everything will be okay.
Yeah, I always will. As long as you understand the risk that you're taking, right? Because are you willing to sleep on a couch if something doesn't work out? That's always a consequence that could potentially happen. Having seen so many entrepreneurs start from nothing and then grow it to a lot of things, but also lose everything and then having to start again. It's just a journey. It's not a destination.
Agree to that. I'm not the person. So basically, as we were lucky to receive our first paid customer and then just started from there, basically we didn't spend any money from our pockets, like to start it over. So we didn't get any investments and we don't need those for now. We just need clients, and what we do, we actually like look for them, yeah, and work in this direction. Yeah, that can be an issue, but when I do some workshops here in Ukraine and I talk to entrepreneurs who are not entrepreneurs yet, but who want to become those, and they're like, hey, I'm working on this like full-time job and I want to leave this job and start it over, like put all my money there. You have to think of the risk management. You have to, don't be just, this free will world guy, girl who's like, yeah, the universe will help me to survive. It's not working like that. So what I do advise them is to like do some customer interviews, design like your pitch deck, try to validate your like topics and theory and your business model. Try to validate the idea actually before leaving your full-time job. So try to develop these pet projects first, and then when you see the perspective and the time you have to like invest, then just get out from that job and start your business. So you don't have to like do this or that. You can do both actually, but again, time consuming. You have to understand that, yeah, you will be working 24/7 for like, I don't know, a couple of years maybe, but that will secure you for you not to sleep on the couch somewhere, I don't know, in a friend's house.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing that. So, I mean, just to conclude it, maybe if there was one word that you would give yourself, I see a question, I'll also ask it. Thanks Restoration, I think. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. Asking how did you test your product market fit? It sounded like they came to you and it was an opportunity for you just to.
Yeah, actually, so we knew that will work because that was 2020 and nothing was going on offline. So basically everybody needed online activities. Everybody needed to do something online, but didn't know how to do this. And we knew how to do this because we were in this community. So basically what we did, we started from our community and from our ecosystem that we were already in. So everybody knew us, we knew everybody, so we had this huge level of trust already. Of course, when we are like going right now to Europe, to USA, like we have clients from there. Of course, we go there with our portfolio, with what we do. We listen to a client. So this is a service business, actually. So this is a consultant/service business. So if the company has a problem, we are there to solve that. So it's not a product that is for like B2C for B2C or as it's B2B, like clearly, and we work with those people only.
Thank you. So my last question, so I could let you go back to your real life. If there was one word that you would go back and tell yourself, that one word, what would that be? I know you've said a few of them, so I took some notes here. What would that, if I were to ask you that separately, what would that be?
Oh my God, one word is very difficult, like one word I would come back and tell to myself. I think I will stay with the fear, like do not fear anything. So I will stick to that because that was, and that's the thing that actually stops a lot of entrepreneurs to jump from this, mountain somewhere. So yeah, don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. Trust yourself. Yeah.
We could put dashes. Do not be afraid.
Yeah, do not. Yeah.
It's one word.
We can. Yeah. Oh, we can. Actually, we can change it to a trust. If we can change it to trust. Yeah, and trust is right? Universal one. You trust yourself. You trust your partners. You trust your market. You trust your community. You trust your thoughts and your ideas. So yeah, let it be trust, I guess.
Okay. And then where just, for those who are watching you now, where you are today, where do you see your company one day? Or where do you see yourself over the next 3 to, maybe next year even?
Well, nice question. We stopped planning, we stopped doing long-term planning since 2022 because of the war. We don't know if we will wake up the next morning. So this is our reality. But we try to expand our projects to other markets. For example, I told you about our flagman project that is called HATA Hub. So we develop culture tech ecosystem in Ukraine. So this year we are doing hackathon that is expanded to 5 countries of Europe. So maybe the next year or like 3-5 years from now, that will be a huge hackathon for culture tech people and projects like all over the world. And let's dream about that. Why not?
Thank you for that. Great. Well, Asia, thank you so much for making time. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for those who were able to join us today. And for those who are rewatching this, thank you so much for being here. Wish you continued success and looking forward to staying in touch. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ferris, for having me, for inviting me. And good luck to all of you who are watching us with your entrepreneurial journey. Hope you will succeed and everything will work out for you.
Yeah, for those who are watching, this is StartupGrind Detroit. I'm Ferris Alamy. Thanks for being with us. Till next time. Have a good day.
Yeah, till next time. Bye-bye.